safety, are you going to seek congressional authorization for?
Well, no other country has ever done it. It's never been, as you know, most people consider it totally unconstitutional. Also, we had a ceasefire, so that gives you additional time. But no other country's done it. We're in the midst of a big victory. This is a victory like we haven't had since Venezuela, okay, to be honest with you. We haven't had, but, you know, we have a country that lost its way. It really lost its way. That's our country in terms of the military. Now we have a great military. We're on our way to another victory, a big victory, and I don't think that it's constitutional what they're asking for. These are not patriotic people that are asking. You know, when they say, even the losers, even the ones that say all the wrong things, admit that it's been amazing what we've done. The Strait is totally shut down. It's flawless. It's totally 100% shut down. Now, we've been dealing with Iran. They want to make a deal. They're not there. They're not with it. They're sort of, they get close, and then a new group of people come in. They don't know who their leaders are. They have no idea who their leaders are, but they're very confused, and that's because of the success we've had militarily. They essentially have no military.
That's a president weighing in on something Ed talked about, that reality based in law. The president only gets 60 days to use military forces in a conflict without then needing congressional approval. After that, unless Congress approves the war or authorizes use of force, our troops have got to come home. As Ed just mentioned, that 60-day clock expires tonight. School of War podcast host, Free Press columnist, and CBS News contributor Aaron MacLean joins us now to talk about this. Aaron, good to have you with us on CBS News 24/7. Walk us through your reaction to what the president just had to say.
Well, I'm not surprised that the president, Secretary Hegseth, and others are looking for a justification for this vote not to be held. I think the claim that the clock somehow pauses because there's a ceasefire is it's a pretty questionable one, not least because part of the ceasefire involves this ongoing blockade of Iran, which is a military operation. It's generally conceived as an act of war to blockade another country. So it's not really clear what the nature of the ceasefire is anyway. However, thin legal justification, but the basic political fact here is that this AUMF, this authorization for the use of military force, which is what the law is called, which the United States has not passed one of these things since the two we passed not long after 9/11, would have to clear the United States Senate. And in the United States Senate, it would need the support of at least some Democratic senators to clear a filibuster. I think the odds of that are pretty limited.
Well, the president also gave some insights on what could happen next. Let's go ahead and listen to that, and then I want to get your take on the other side.
Was he briefing you on a different approach, options? What kind of options? How would it look different?
There are options. I mean, do we want to go and just blast the hell out of him and finish him forever, or do we want to try and make a deal? I mean, those are the options.
Do you want to go blast the hell out of him?
I'd
and
prefer
finish him
not.
forever?
On a human basis, I'd prefer not, but that's the option. Do we want to go in there heavy and just blast him away?
Okay, so you heard the president there use the word options. As you hear some of those options laid out, which do you think is most likely?
Well, I think there's three broad courses of action ahead. One is a return to military operations, which you hear the president expressing some reserve about there, but certainly not ruling it out. And I think what you would see is a strike on Iranian economic targets, just like was being contemplated earlier this month. If you recall all the talk about bridges and power plants, I think targets like that would be on the list. But of course, that would provoke Iranian retaliation, and we would see a return to combat, much like we had earlier this spring. The other possible outcome is a deal. It could be a good deal by the terms of this administration, or it could be a bad deal by their terms. And right now, as the president seems to suggest, the two sides are not particularly close. So I would actually, if you're going to make me make a prediction, I would go with door number three. And door number three is continued stalemate, this kind of game of economic chicken, maybe even economic suicide pact the longer it goes on, where we blockade them and they close the Strait of Hormuz, and we all wait to see what breaks first economically.
Who blinks? Aaron MacLean, always appreciate the conversation. Hope to see you back here on CBS News 24/7. Thank you so much.